What is going on,
You
people?
start.
It's your boy
Oh, go ahead.
JC, aka Always J Carson, and JD from the Otaku Fix, and this is the Unpolished Gym podcast, guys. It's been a minute. We've been gone. Now, have we been reading
It's
it? Of course, we've been reading it, guys. I mean, like we keep up with it, but we wanted to come back to you guys with like a completed game. Like they were giving bits and pieces of things. We wanted to complete a game. Some character development from Usagi and some of the other characters. So we're back with 97 through 103. So
got
JD, just an overall, just this is just the game itself.
all right.
How'd
Mhm.
you feel about the game? Just the entire game. How'd you feel?
Okay, so okay, I felt good about the game. The game was cool. It was some bits and pieces that I kind of was like, with
Yeah.
regarding the game. We're gonna get into that in a little bit. But overall, the game was fine. But it was kind of like that knowing of you know how it's gonna go down.
Yeah,
You know
that's my point. Yeah.
that. But I mean, that's that's in most sports manga anyway. Like eventually, you know that it's gonna be some kind of way the MC is going to prevail some kind of way. It's just all about how it's executed. I don't think this particular one was executed as well as it has been executed.
Right.
But it was still good all in all. But what was your thoughts about the game?
The game went exactly how I thought it was going to go. And that's kind of unfortunate. But the thing about Blue Lock is that even though we understood how it was going to go, like you can look at the panels. I mean, like the artwork is it's just so good. I mean, like do they even take chapters off with the artwork ever?
I don't think so.
Exactly. So, I
I
mean,
haven't
like
seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet. So
it is very pretty to look at. So you keep coming back just to look at it. You just marvel at the artwork. But then something something I said back in the past chapter started rearing its ugly head here. So I'm going to ask you this question: what is the story telling you about the side characters? Because I mean, when we got to this stage right here, they introduced a lot of side characters, and so we got 5-on-5 right now. We got we got 4 of the top 6 in here.
right.
So what is the story telling you about the side characters?
It's telling me that only the most interesting will prevail.
Exactly. I couldn't.
If you're not an interesting side character, you won't be here that long.
Oh my
You
goodness.
you
So,
can be here for the moment, but overall, your time is going to come.
and I was worried about that with Blue Lock. I was like, they're introducing so many characters, and like Blue Lock moves so fast that if you're not interesting a little bit, you're not gonna make it in the story. So I mean, you have Ren, Ryusei, and Asagi for their team, and then you have 2 other players that they were featured in these last couple chapters, but I can't remember their names.
They're only there to progress Isagi's greatness.
Exactly, I can't remember their names. Do they have any like quote unquote special abilities?
No, their abilities is pretty much they're pretty much lackluster, but they're
Yeah.
just there to help Isagi.
Like
pretty
pass
much.
Usagi the ball. Somebody so
Yeah,
Usagi can pass.
pass it.
And then we got on the other side, like I don't remember the other 2, the 3 and the
The other
4.
team.
Yeah, I can't remember their names,
Yeah,
but they're gonna be here. But then you got
yeah,
Chiguri over here. Fodder, is he fodder now?
bro. I've been trying to tell you, bro. Like he is shit. I really don't want to say he was like the weakest one on the original squad because I mean, but it really does feel that way. Like he was because he's just fast. That's
Yeah.
all he has. He just has speed. He doesn't really have anything else to his arsenal. So it's like what what can you really do? You know, I mean, he can catch up to people, but
Yeah.
as we found out, he's not the fastest in Blue Lock.
No,
So
did he even score?
did
I don't think he
he
scored.
score? I don't think he scored
I
in
don't think
this
he
one.
scored. And that's the thing about it. Like Blue Lock, like if you aren't like at the top, you're not one of the top 6. If you don't
Hmm.
score, bro, like okay, I was thinking about this, right? I looked it up, and if I'm not mistaken, so you
Hmm.
have the top 11, which is going to be your starters on the field, and then you
Right.
have like 6 subs. So you
Right.
have 17 people on the team. So that means if they do it like in any other soccer team, you have 17 people that's going to make it.
Hmm.
And I don't know if he's good enough to make it. Chigiri, I don't know if it's good enough to make it. They might put him on there because, he's one of the original.
But
But,
will he actually be good enough to deserve a spot?
I mean, because
Because
there's like, what, 40-something players left over?
yeah, something like that.
And, like, you going to give him a spot right now? He didn't do anything. You only get one game to prove yourself.
Right.
Is he good enough? Do you think he's good enough to make it?
I don't think he proved himself this game. I mean, we in Ego's eyes, Jinpachi Ego, in his eyes, maybe he proved enough to get one more shot. But I mean, for me as the reader, I don't think he proved himself at all. He just
Yeah.
does the same thing he always does: use his
Yeah.
speed, try to cut you off,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. He really doesn't have great defense. He's really not a scorer unless he's pretty much out in front by
Yeah.
himself.
Right.
And I mean, that's all Shigeru's good for, man.
And I did like him. He was one of my favorite characters, but yeah, he's not gonna make it. And then there were you had number 3 and number 4, you have Chicory, and he had 2 other players that were on there. Do you remember who they were? Do you remember what they
They-
looked like? Because I don't think they showed them.
Fodder.
I don't think they showed them besides playing some defense
Fodder.
on somebody. Exactly,
Fodder.
fodder. I was like, why are you even here? You might as well play some 3-on-3 if you're gonna do that, right?
Right.
So, okay, we got that out the way. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions about Isagi now. So
The GOAT.
So what did the story just tell you about Isagi's character? What do you think? I have an idea of where they're taking his character right now.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, what are they showing you about Isagi in this game?
Pretty much, they pretty much showed me that if there is a way to make something happen, even when there's no possible outcome that anyone else can see,
Right.
he's gonna find it.
Hey,
If there's a miracle that needs to happen, he will make that miracle happen.
That's what they
That's what they show.
That's what they call it, MC. That's what they call it, MC.
The MC.
So, let me tell you what I was thinking about Isagi, right?
All right.
Isagi's game is basically, if you went to its most evolved form, it's Rin.
Mm-hmm.
They're showing you that Isagi's game, its most evolved form is Rin.
Right.
He has the same spatial awareness. He can see the field like Rin can. But the only difference between him and Rin, number one, Rin is a little bit taller. He's stronger. He's faster. He's just way in every category.
Rin is the A+ version of him.
Exactly. So they said in the story that you're not good enough to be on Rin or Yusei's level.
Mm-hmm. So
they did this whole thing about think about your process backwards. So in essence, what they're trying to do is say you're not good enough to be Isagi, not Isagi, but good enough to be Rin. So how about mixing in little Ryusei? Because Ryusei is the opposite of Ren. Ryusei is just instinct and talent. He gets there because he knows where to be. He has an eye for the ball. He just does things. So I don't know who's better between Ren and Ryusei right now, but they're trying to get Isagi to be in the middle of Ren and Ryusei. Like, hey, so basically how it was is Isagi has to see what he's doing. Then he thinks about what he's doing, then he reacts. And then they said you have to do it backwards. So you have to act first. Then
pretty much everything else comes in.
Yeah, then everything else comes in. So they're saying you have to be more like Ryusei. And basically that's how he got his one goal. Of course he'll get his one goal at the end.
Right. He needs the one goal.
So he got his one goal, and they called it a miracle. So do you think that the way that he's going to actually start to come into his own is by mixing those two top players together?
I don't think it's just going to be those top two. I think what's going to eventually happen is he's going to take everything from every player, and that's how his eventual, quote unquote, final form will come about. Because if we think back to when he first started realizing his gift and what he can do. Every time he faces a strong opponent, he always takes a little bit of what they do, added to his repertoire, but he also changes it to where it fits him and only him.
Right.
So I think that's what his overall end is going to be. It's just going to be a cumulative of everybody he's met and faced. And, when them puzzle pieces come together,
I'm telling you, man.
that's just how it's going to be because I just don't see him just being a mixture of Ren and Shido. I think it's just going to be a mixture of everybody, like when it's all said and done. And that's just and he's of course gonna be the ultimate striker eventually. But as of right now, I think he's maybe the top 7 in there. Like I think he secured himself as maybe
Man,
like
I
top
can't even
7.
I can't even give you that much, man. And I'll tell you in a
Really?
minute. Yeah, I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay. All
So
right.
okay, so let's get to that part, right?
All right.
We saw the top 4 in action
Mm-hmm.
in this game.
Right.
He doesn't even compare to the top 4. He's not even like he was trying to find a way to be useful,
Mm-hmm.
not a way to take over the game, not a way to
Right.
score. He just like Isagi wanted to be useful in this game.
Right.
It took him to the very last goal. He had to steal that last goal.
Mm-hmm.
The ball wasn't even supposed to go to him.
Right.
He had to steal the last goal. I mean, you're talking about Ren and Ryusei, like literally like the goals they were scoring. Ryusei
Mm-hmm.
scored like 2 goals, not even looking at the goal, like literally back kicking, like these acrobatic scores. And Isagi can't do that. Isagi he's nowhere near those levels of offense right now.
Right.
Defense, like I mean, you had the other guy called Mr. Ordinary the entire game because basically when it comes to everybody else who's left, he's pretty ordinary. Like
Yeah.
he has those miracle moments that he shows how good he is, but he's basically ordinary. He hasn't gotten to that point where he has his own offensive style. He has that one direct shot that he does
Mm-hmm.
that is a special move, but of course, like compared to Ren and Ryusei, nah. Like his offensive capabilities just aren't there. And then when you get to number 3 and number 4, he's still nowhere near them either. So if I'm looking, like we both thought he should be in the top 7 at least as much as we've been seeing him play. But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, like how Ryusei came all the way from the bottom, we know how good he was until we saw him play. I don't think he's there, man. Like he wasn't better than you remember when when it was the 4-on-4 when they had the other 2 guys, the long hair guy. Like, he wasn't good as them either. So if he's not as good as them, he's not anywhere near.
I think the problem with Isagi is his talent and his skill is there. But the problem is he's inconsistent
Right.
as far as how he uses abilities. So, and the most consistent we've seen from him was that where they had to beat the other team and take their player. That
Mm-hmm.
was the most consistent we actually seen him.
Right.
So his if he can be consistent, I think it'll be a lot easier for us to like definitively say, yeah, he's at least top 7 out of
Mm-hmm.
all of Blue Lock or higher. But he just can't be consistent as of right now. Like that's why we always see him either at the last second or the last few plays where he comes out and he shines,
Right.
but throughout the entire match, he's pretty much like you said, ordinary because he always tries to figure out how can I, put my mark on this game
Right.
without pretty much causing us to lose and doing too much. So I think just once he realizes this is what I can always do, at least to start off the match,
Mm-hmm.
to be effective and useful,
Right.
rather than trying to taking a whole match to try to figure out what it is I can do. And then at the very last second or very last few plays, he becomes the Saga we always see.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think once he becomes more consistent, then we can definitely, say without a shadow of a doubt that he's at least top 7 or top 5 or whatever, how we want to
I
put him.
still wouldn't give it to him.
Still, like, so
You know why?
why?
Because what is something that the top 7 can do, or not even top 7, the people that we've seen that are his rivals, what is something that they can do that he can't do?
Score,
Exactly.
score at will.
Score by themselves. He always has
Mm-hmm.
to get a pass to somebody. He always has to get in the open spot in
Mm-hmm.
the right opportunity, the right time to score.
Well.
Okay.
Granted,
Okay.
Bakura and Nagi still need people to pass on the ball, at least from the last time we've seen
Do
them.
you remember Bakura when he basically went crazy and
He
scored that
went,
one goal by himself?
yeah,
Went through everybody.
but we've seen Isagi go crazy and score goals by himself.
I don't remember him scoring by himself without somebody passing him the ball.
But we also have to realize, like, even Nagi, um, he hasn't fully gone crazy to score goals by himself. He
But
always has setups.
yeah, but at the same time, like Nagi went, he can always like set himself up though. Like somebody passing the ball, he can knock up in the air. He can do everything. He can do. He's just number one. He's bigger, stronger, like
Yeah,
everybody else is. But at the same time, he's just more gifted than Isagi is. But everybody else can score on their own, and I'm pretty sure he
yeah,
has. But we haven't seen it. But Bakura definitely did.
yeah.
The
I
top
think,
six definitely can.
yeah,
The
but
king
yeah. Well,
definitely
we know
can.
him. Yeah, we know
Exactly.
he definitely can.
Exactly.
But
Like
that's but as we've seen, it takes more to just scoring because even when Isagi wasn't the main one scoring,
mhm.
he was the assist guy. If it wasn't for him, a lot of those goals wouldn't have happened in the first place.
That's correct. That
So
is
we also have to look at it and take that in consideration. Like even though the scoring aspect is important, and it's probably one of the most important things, if if you can't set up or control the game the way Isagi and Ren can,
mm,
like that's just as important to just go ahead and score. Because they Isagi and Ren control the game in ways that doesn't require them to score.
okay. You could say that, but actually, Ren always controls the game, so he can score.
Yeah.
He's always the last pass, but at the same time, but you're talking about people that are like fodder now because if you aren't a threat on the field to score
Mm-hmm.
in any of these matches,
Mm-hmm.
then you look like everybody else. You look like Chiguri, who's fast. If he can get one on one with somebody, then yeah, maybe he can score. But
Mm-hmm.
Isagi's not. If he has the ball anywhere on the field, you're not really unless he's like right in front of the goal. He's not going to score. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows he's looking for somebody to pass to. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
know he's not going. He's not the one that's going to score. It's like okay, we're gonna focus on everybody else, not him. And
Right.
that's the problem with Isagi right now. He can't score on his own. He can't take somebody one on one. It's like, hey, I'm going to score.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Not in the top six
I
or
agree
seven.
with that.
I don't think he can do it against Bakura right now. And Bakura 7.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. Like we know, Isagi is just abilities like is overall just like speed, strength, and stuff. He's average,
Yeah,
like just across the board.
yes.
Like, and really that's his only weakness. If he had like the same like strength,
Mm-hmm.
speed, that and quickness that like Ren does, or
Right.
even Bakura or Nagi for that matter, it's not gonna be like top three
Yeah,
right now.
he would be top 3. It's,
But
it's just
I guess I don't know if they're gonna have like another um training arc to where he can potentially boost that in a way,
mhm.
or is he always just gonna be just that average, speed, average strength type player? I don't know because eventually he's gonna need to at least get faster and stronger. Like I don't think this series will have a time skip.
right. Nah, I
Um,
really doubt that.
Yeah, I doubt it's gonna have a time skip, but they're definitely gonna need to give him something to where you'd be like, hey, you gotten faster, or hey, you gotten taller or stronger, or something to that nature. Because his skills can only take him so far.
Right. Well, I would say that, but he's not any. I'm not saying he's going to be any slower than Bakura or any shorter. I think they're around the same height. Or I
Hmm.
mean, Bakura is not a strength. He's a finesse type player. He can just
Yeah.
dribble very well and get past you.
Hmm.
So I mean, that is his skill. And he still made it to the top 7 with that skill and that relentlessness. Like, hey, I'm gonna score no matter what. You're not gonna stop me. And he went through the entire team to do it.
But if I'm not mistaken, like the last time we've seen, at least with the main cast, when they did like the times and stuff like that, Saga was like pretty much dead last with the
Mm.
monk
Oh,
dude.
okay, yeah, yeah.
It turns like the speed and strength and quickness and all of that. He was pretty much dead last. So even Bakura is faster, stronger, and can jump higher than he can.
Okay,
Even though
then
Bakura's
so
main thing is just dribbling.
then we can't put him anywhere near the top 7. Then you've got so many characters we haven't seen yet, and plus we're going to assume that Superstar 1 through 4 are leaps and bounds ahead of him right now. Then 5 and 6 is going to be too.
I think the only thing we're gonna have to see,
Well,
because they set it up to where one of the top 7 is going to lose their top spot to somebody.
well, it's not
That's how they set it up. So I don't know if Ego is going to, by the end of it, put Isagi in one of those top spots, because
not from one goal.
Now that I'm just saying, not now that this match is over, Isagi is not playing anymore.
Exactly.
That's it for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna see the rest of those matches. We might see maybe one more match.
You gotta see, you gotta see, what, 5 and 6. You gotta see. You just can't skip 5 and 6, right? Because what's called there? What's his name?
Who? Nagi.
Yeah, Nagi's there. So you're not gonna skip Nagi. You have to see how much he's developed since he left, or Ren left him. Not Ren. Isagi left him. You gotta show why he's in the top 6. Because
I guess they can show Nagi, but like I said, that'll probably be the only other match they show.
Right, because he lost to people to passing the ball. That's what he does. People passing the ball, he creates something.
Right.
So when he lost his people to passing the ball, let's see how he operates. Let's see how much better he's gotten. He was basically just learning the entire time.
Which is crazy now that we think about it, because even when they fought against Nagi, like Isagi fought against Nagi, Isagi was better overall than Nagi at that point in time. And just for the fact that now we're into this, top 20, we're getting ready to face the top 20 or the U20 team. Nagi just somehow overtaking him and Bakura. So I am interested to see what kind of skills he's obtained since then. To where he just repassed Isagi.
He basically has a Sharingan, man. He's just one of the people, he has the natural talent. He didn't care about soccer. Now he's literally learning the rules. Like a couple chapters ago, he was asking about the rules and what can't you do? And he was watching people on that guy's phone. I think it might have been Bakura. Can't remember if it was Bakura or Chigiri. Watching on the phone, watching moves. Like stuff he didn't know that you could do with a soccer ball. So of course he's gonna see it, he's gonna do it, he's gonna get a lot better. He's just like a supremely talented, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan level player who's just learning how to play the game.
Right.
So that's just how he is. So I'm pretty sure as of right now he's probably a lot better than he used to be, and probably doesn't need all the help that he had before. So, I just don't think he's. I might put Isagi in top 10. Just top 10.
Top 10 is fine.
But at the same time, we have all these other characters that are here. They're not I don't
we
see
know
Blue Lock.
all of them other characters not gonna stay around. We know this. They're fodder. They're fodder. They was just the last people that was ducked off in Blue Lock. They was like, okay, these are the last people. They made it through. Let's just go ahead and give them a shot, even though we know they're not gonna make it through. That's all they are.
There's no way you're gonna have basically the original Blue Lock 11. Well, besides like 2 of them, and then the top 6. There's no way you're gonna have that.
Well, I don't believe that whole original squad is gonna make it. I don't. I think
if they do make it, is it an indictment to the story? To make the story like a
no, I don't think it makes. I don't think it's an indictment to the story. It's just different from what we're used to.
I can't see them being there because I'm looking at them like I don't know if you all are really good enough. Like you look at the top 6, most of them aren't there. We haven't seen them in so long, but the monk is not there. I don't care what nobody says.
He ain't making it to the end.
He better not make it to the end.
The only caveat I would say to that is whoever gets eliminated, are they gonna have that second chance like whatchamacallit got?
He did get a second chance, and when he's coming back in here, what is? Did they
That's
forget
what I'm
about
saying.
him?
No, I don't think they forgot. I think it's gonna be like one of those play-ins to where either somebody gets eliminated or somebody gets hurt, and you need somebody to step in, and that's gonna be a second chance to prove himself. I think it's gonna be like one of those type of things, or that's what I really think is gonna happen. It's just gonna be one of those play-ins to where he's gonna come in, step in, prove
Yeah, but
himself,
you're not
and if
going.
he does
I mean, you have
decent,
to have
he'll
him
make.
jump in front of all the people who went through all these trials to get to where
But,
they got to. He got to jump in front of all of them.
but that's also what I'm saying. It could be to where the people that gets eliminated from this goes where he goes, and then they play each other, and then
Wow,
him and maybe whoever else might make it from that and back into the spotlight, so to
makes
speak.
sense. Makes sense. Like where you're going
But
with that.
but then again, it's Blue Lock, and we've both been wrong multiple times
Yes, I
when it comes to trying to figure out what's gonna happen next.
because they don't
Because we always think about what normally happens in these kind of series,
right.
but Blue Lock, I think what we always end up forgetting is Blue Lock is not a original sports series like Haikyuu or Ace of Diamond or anything like that. It always takes it to a whole nother level and twists everything that we normally know, and it changes it. So I mean that's what I think could happen, but I have absolutely no idea.
That would be the same for me. So, last thing that I just thought about: did Ryusei's character change? Did he? Did he? Is he nicer or? I feel like ever since he started playing with people around his skill level, he's not as violent anymore. Like he started off violent at the very beginning, almost kicked Isagi in the head. But then once he started playing again with Ren, like all of a sudden he's not talking down to people or anymore. He's just kind of like passing the ball and that type of thing. Kind of just like a normal player that's really good.
It's a combination of him playing with people around his skill level, and also he doesn't want to get kicked out for his attitude. I think
Yeah,
it's
that
like a
makes.
combination of both.
Yeah, they did. Ego did call him out.
Right.
Yeah, so he did
He
call him out.
he he said he got to keep his attitude and stuff in check because the only reason he was below like in the bottom tier of players was because he always got in the fights.
Right. Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, he would have been top two with Ren a long time ago.
Might be top one. Might be top one. Right.
I think I'll still take Ren. I think I'll
Why?
still take
But
Ren
why
over him
Ren?
because
We
Ren is.
that's the most we've seen. He's the one we've seen the most.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to goal scoring, I mean, he can like Ryusei can score
Yeah,
anywhere.
yeah. He's a great scorer, but Ren is the overall better player.
Do we know that though?
Is yes, I
How? I
think we
mean,
do know that.
okay, we haven't. I
For
mean,
what we've seen, Ren is the overall better player.
but we've seen Ren in so many more
It,
games, so that's the point. We've only seen Ryusei in this one.
but even in this one, we've seen the difference in strategy and abilities that both of them do. Like,
Okay.
yeah, Ryusei, he gets to where he needs to be
Yes.
without nobody thinking he's gonna be there.
Right.
But like we said earlier, Ren controls the game in different ways to
He did.
where even if he doesn't score, he's still controlling the game to where it's gonna favor him in the end.
He did do
Whether
that,
it's
but weren't there twice where Ren was doing this thing that he normally does? I guess he was
Mhm.
right there with a Ryusei trying to
Yeah,
score at the same time. So I
I,
mean,
I
you can't
just
say
I
that's
just
superior.
I'm just looking at it like this. Okay, so if we look at it like Ryusei is James Harden, great scorer, can score a bunch of different ways.
Mhm.
But if we look at Ren like LeBron, who has the overall skill set,
Have you really
passing, field
seen
awareness, scoring,
have we seen Ren play some good defense?
defense.
We haven't seen him play good defense.
Look, I mean, let's be real. The one time he he was playing defense, the one time we really seen him trying to play defense was against the pros, which he got obliterated, which
Yeah,
he should have.
everybody
He
did.
should have gotten obliterated. Everybody did. But that's what should have happened. You're playing against pro players and you're still like what freshman
Yeah,
or
yeah,
in high
you're
school
in
and
high
stuff.
school.
So right, so you're supposed to get exposed and blow it out. But I just think overall, maybe it's just me. I don't know. I just think overall, Ren is the gold standard in Blue Lock. which is one of the reasons why Ego made him number one.
Right.
And also it is going to turn into this whole thing between him and his brother.
Okay.
And his whole goal is to beat his brother. Now
Right.
we already know just from what they said, like his brother is the shit, and like he's already like, I think he's the ace on his team. I can't remember if they said it or not,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. So Ren is number one. I just think because his overall game, Shido is a close. Is If you want to do it like this, you can say Ren is 1A, Shido is 1B. If you want to do it like that.
Okay. All right. Let's put simple. Okay, man. Rent's 10. Cheeto's a 9. I guess you just put him like one below.
Yeah.
Where's Usagi? We're not gonna say like in ranking. Like if you had to put him, give a number value, where would it be?
I'd say 7.58.
I could not give him an 8. This right behind. Like I give him a 7. I give him a 7, and then I'll put everybody else.
Well, what about a 7.5?
I can't.
You can't even give him a 7.5
because if I'm just thinking about like, okay, Ren, Cheeto, he have those are top 6. I'm putting them at like an 8, if they're even that low. Because I don't think they're even that much lower than Ren is. I think they're all around the same level. We just got Ren who's just a little bit better than everybody else is. But Isagi's just you can't put Mr. Ordinary that close to everybody else because he is that ordinary.
I mean, he's ordinary, but we can't just be dissing Isagi like that, though. Bro.
Isagi's done some things. Like if you put him with everybody else who's not in the top 6, yes, he's going to shine. He's going, but when you can't be with the top 4 and then start say, I just want to be useful. How am I going to be useful to the number 1, number 2 on my team? Because they're not even passing me. They're not even passing me the ball right now.
I mean, granted that.
And Isagi, and Ren's actually played with him. Ren knows he can trust Isagi, but he's not even passing the ball right now.
It's hard because like we know Isagi isn't better, at least than the top 4. We know he's not better than the top 4.
Right. We'll get that. Yeah.
Which is fine. You know, majority of people in there aren't better than the top 4. So that's fine. I think it's just the only thing that because Ren knows Isagi is pretty much just another version of him, but just not as good. That's why Ren trusts him enough to, 1, to pick him back then, to pick him and bring him along, and 2, to not really trip that he's on his team, which I don't think even if Isagi wasn't on his team, he wasn't going to trip on whoever decided to be on his team anyway because he doesn't care. But I just think he does have a certain level of respect for Isagi that he doesn't have for anybody else that's not in the top 4.
He does have respect for him, but still didn't pass the ball. My guy was starving for the ball.
Nobody passes Isagi the ball because Isagi's always want to pass them the ball.
Well, that's the whole point. If I knew if I passed you the ball, I don't get it back, I'd pass you the ball.
But all of these people are selfish.
That's the point. Like
that's the only difference. Like all of them are selfish. Like if they wasn't selfish, they'll pass Isagi the ball. But they're selfish.
Well, not the fodder. I mean, they passed the fodder the ball. They passed it back to him. That's how they got.
They only pass it to him to get their goals off.
Exactly. Well, you think Isagi's not going to pass it back?
But Ren did it to Isagi. Ren used Isagi to pass the ball to get his goal off, but Isagi just stole it in the end.
Because he had to.
Exactly. So that's I can't really put that on him for getting the ball passed to him because they're selfish, and that's what the point of Blue Lock is, to create the best overall selfish player.
Well, the point of Blue Lock is that your skill and your ability, and even just you being in the right place, like is so overwhelming that they can't help but pass you the ball because they know that you're going to score. That's the whole thing with Sagi. Like, I'm going to be in the right place at the right time, so you have no choice but to pass the ball. Even when he did it with King, he's like, I know you're selfish. I know you want to score more than me. I know you hate me, but you got to pass the ball. I'm right here.
Right. I mean, it's just about trying to be better than the other person, and that's just.
And he's nowhere near it yet.
I'm pretty sure this series is gonna last. I mean, what are we, like 100, chapter 123?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how long Blue Lock is going to last. I could say maybe like around 300, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
300 maybe. 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 300 chapters or so, but he still got a good little time to get his skill up and stuff. I mean, right now he's not the best, but he's come a long way from where he started.
Yes,
A hell of a long way.
I'll give him top 10, and that's barely in the top 10.
I can be fine with top 10. I can be fine with top 10.
I'm saying top 6 there for a reason. I'm not sure who's going to take one of the top 10 spots, top 6 spots, but it's not gonna be Isagi.
You don't think they'll give Isagi one of the top 6?
No, not from scoring one goal. It's gonna be somebody, because you have to understand that the top 6 they play in multiple games.
Mm-hmm.
So there are always 2 of them playing, and then they have 4 other people or 3 other people with them playing. So somebody is gonna just like decimate a game. Be like, okay, he's gonna take their spot, but I'm not sure what it's gonna be.
Now, do you think for some crazy random reason that Bakura is going to be the one that loses the spot and get kicked out?
Nah, he gets played twice.
So you think Bakura is going to be safe?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be the one who probably benefits from it the most. He gets
to play
2
twice.
games. He gets played 2 games.
What if they kick Bakura out of the top 6 and make Hisaki that top 6?
Well, he's
make him that 7th. Make him that 7th person.
I can see it from one goal, man. He didn't do enough in that one game to warrant like taking somebody's spot.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have scored 2, then yeah, but 1 goal at the very end, even and they call it a miracle.
But did Bakura do anything like tremendous in that game? Because Bakura was on the team too.
Oh well, yeah, but at the same time, I mean, if I'm looking at it,
but I'm like, yeah, I mean, Bakura didn't do shit in this game.
You talking about what?
Wait, what was Bakura playing in this game?
No, not this game. No, he hadn't played yet.
He wasn't playing.
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying he has 2 games he gets to play in. Yeah, so he hadn't played yet.
Because I could have sworn he chose. They did say he chose to be on Ren's team, but I guess he just didn't play in this particular game.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Right. I just remember them saying that he chose to be on Ren's team.
The only person that there was lame Chiguri didn't do nothing. That's the only person we knew of.
Chiguri might be kicked out, but like I said, that was long overdue. He should have been kicked out a long time ago. If we're being honest, he really should have. I was shocked he made it this far.
The only thing about Blue Lock is they don't show all the other games, so you just have to kind of assume that everybody's been doing well.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know how well
to make it.
We don't know how well they've been doing. Like we don't know who's been scoring, who's the lead scorers. We don't know any of that stuff. So
I just think Shiguri was like, he was just good enough to make it, but he wasn't like the most standout player.
But there are plenty of rivalries that Isagi has out there. He has plenty of them, so they've had to been.
Yeah.
They had been doing something to make it.
He don't have to be the best one. He just needs to be good enough to make it.
If scoring 1 goal is good enough, then well, I guess that's it.
Yeah, you just got to be decent enough to make it through.
Mr. Ordinary strikes again. All right, man. You got anything else on these chapters? Anything else you want to touch on?
I'm just ready for the U20. I'm ready for them to face the U20 team, and I know that's going to be a good amount of chapters for that game. So I'm just interested. I'm just ready to see who's going to make it on the team to face the U20 team. Of course, I don't believe Blue Lock is going to get shut down.
Of course not.
I think it's going to be something. Even if they do lose against the U20 team, I think they're going to show enough talent to where they're going to be like, okay, we're going to keep Blue Lock going to see what happens and where this experiment is going to end. So honestly, I do think they're going to lose to the U20 team, but I think they're going to show enough in order to continue the Blue Lock project.
Right.
That's just what I think.
So
prediction.
I think that this is an incredible opportunity for Blue Lock to do some character development that is sorely needed with all these characters they introduced. Since Isagi is not playing, you have the opportunity to show other people and how good they've been playing. If they don't do that, it's gonna be a strike for me. You have the opportunity to do it. You have the chapters to do it. You got to show other players and how good they are. Because if you just like kind of skip through these games that everybody else is playing and skip to the U20, I don't know, man. That's gonna be hurtful for it. You You have the opportunity to do it. You have it.
They have it. I'm just going out on a limb and say they do it.
Right.
Like I said, but I don't think they're going to show every single game. They're going to show one game being played, and then we're skipping and we're going back to the main, to the MC and what's happening next.
Okay.
I just don't see them showing every single game or more than one game, more than one other game being played.
I guess we're going to see people. This has been the Unpolished Gems podcast. My boy JD from the Otaku Fix. I am JC, aka Always J Carson. Guys, so, oh man, like I would love to say that, okay, next chapter we're gonna be here, but I don't know. Look, we want things that are impactful to happen before we just come out here and talk about it.
Right.
So
it's hard to talk about a setup chapter.
Exactly. So once things that are impactful happen, we will be here 100%. This game was very important, so therefore we're here.
Right.
So just follow the Twitters, follow all our social medias. We'll tell you guys we're gonna do it.
All right. Subscribe to both channels.
Yes. See you guys later.
Peace.